Hey, challengers, what's up? So, I wanted to do a little video for you guys because I feel like sometimes the message comes across easier when you can hear it coming directly from me instead of me typing it out. So, I want to talk about goal setting because it's important. And I know I asked all of you guys this when we introduced ourselves, and you're supposed to put it in your challenge tracker app. And I've read through a lot of those, but I'm going to ask you to do it again. And I don't want you to be mad about it. And I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, why does she keep asking this? I'm asking it to you because it's so important to get this right. And goal setting is a skill that you learn. It's not as simple as we think it is. It's not as simple as saying, I want to feel healthier or I want to lose weight. It's not even as simple as saying, I want to lose 5 pounds. Now, saying I want to lose 5 pounds is a little bit more specific than just I want to lose weight or I want to get healthier, but it still doesn't give you that really strong reason why you're doing this. So, I want to talk about the why because that's important. Why did you sign up for this? Why are you in my group? Why did you pick the exercise program and challenge pack that you did? Why is this important to you? There is a reason that you're here with us. And you need to dig deep. And this is uncomfortable. And I think that's why it is hard for people to do because it forces you to get uncomfortable. Your reason why might be because you're embarrassed of how you feel. You hate going out because you don't like how you look in your clothes. You hide from being in pictures because you feel disgusted with yourself. And those things are hard. Those things are hard to admit, they're hard to think about, and they're hard to say out loud to someone else, but they might be true. And the more that we can dig deep and admit them, the more you free yourself from it. It's like a gremlin. Gremlins, if you guys remember that movie, gremlins could only come out at night. They weren't active during the day. And holding some of these things in is like holding a gremlin and it holds us hostage. So, what I'm asking you to do is dig deep and reveal your gremlin. What is it about you? I can think back to when I was getting started and before I picked up a Beachbody program. There was a reason why I messaged the person that I signed up with because I kept seeing the same things over and over again. And at first I was like hating on her, of course, like maybe some of you did with me. I thought, oh, like, what is she doing? I don't know what she's drinking. Like, that seems stupid. I don't want any part of it. But it wasn't until I started thinking about myself and how I felt in my clothes and how I felt negative towards every piece of clothing in my closet and how I didn't like the way that my pants felt and I didn't like any of my clothes. I didn't want to go out and because I just didn't feel like I had anything to wear. I hated everything that I had because I wasn't comfortable with my body. I was resentful. I was angry. I was just mad because I couldn't work out and I felt like working out was the solution, to my problems. But what I realized was the tricks that used to work for me in my 20s didn't work for me in my 30s and definitely did not work for me after I had a baby. I couldn't just, have a bad couple of days and work out for a couple of days and everything would just go back to normal. It didn't work anymore and that made me mad and it made me frustrated and it made me resentful and I was jealous. I was very jealous of the people that I saw who were my age, who had kids and who like were flashing their abs and I'm like, "Oh." So, that was my gremlin and I needed to admit it. And it took me a long time. I wasn't able to admit it my first go round, but I didn't have anyone coaching me through that. So, what I'm trying to help you guys do is get around to that faster because I think you'll have better, longer lasting results if you're able to do that. So, getting back to goal setting, the safer your goal, the more average your results. So that's why I want you to dig deep. I don't want you to say, I just want to lose 5 pounds. That's great if that's really, really, really what you want. If your goal is to just lose 5 pounds, fantastic. I want to lose 5 pounds by April 15th or by Easter or by the end of this challenge group. I want to lose 5 pounds. That's a specific goal and it has a deadline. And to get to that goal, here's what I'm going to do. So I want to lose 5 pounds by the end of this challenge group by following my workout program and following my meal plan consistently, throughout this group. Very specific. It's time bound. It gives you that deadline. It gives you that specific measurable goal and the actions that you're going to take. But if your real goal is to lose 50 pounds, then you need to say that. I don't care that we're not going to hit it this month. I mean, that's just unrealistic. But you need to be honest with yourself. And if that is your goal, then you need to say it. You need to admit what your goal is. If your goal is 100 pounds, then that needs to be what your goal is. The safer your goal, the more average your results. Do you get it? Your brain doesn't know the difference between a little goal and a big goal. So you need to set that big goal. Because if you go after the little goal, you'll hit it, and then what do you got to do? Yay! Like, you hit your little goal, but then something in you stops you because it's like you check the box. I hit the goal. I don't have to do it anymore. But you're not done. When you set that big goal, you give yourself something to work towards. You give yourself something that keeps you going. You have to fall in love with the process of going through this because then it's no longer a diet. It's your lifestyle. You have to fall in love with the process and you have to have patience. Wherever you are, however many pounds you feel like you need to lose, you didn't put those on overnight. You didn't put them on in 30 days. This is years of whatever you have been doing or not doing that got you to this point. So you have to appreciate that while we are going to focus in over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to show you how to focus. Things aren't going to be exactly the way that you want them to be at the end of it, unless you're right almost at your goal. But most people aren't, and even if you're close, you're still going to need to continue to repeat these processes to make this a lifestyle so that we're not repeating this vicious cycle of what we would call yo-yo dieting. So you need to fall in love with the process, and patience needs to be your best friend. So in this process, you're going to come across haters. Okay? You might already know exactly who they are, and you might not even want to tell anyone, and that's okay. But you're going to come across haters. Sometimes the closer you are to someone who will be a hater, the harder that this is going to be for them. And here's why. You and what you're doing, and if they see you doing this and they start to feel what you're doing, like you're eating healthier, you're working out, you're not hanging out with them as much, you're making better choices in front of them, they're going to see that and they're going to notice and they're going to start to question you and they're going to start to say things to you and they're going to start to encourage you to maybe make that bad decision. They're going to say things like, oh my God, you've been working so hard, you work out so good. You can have that, you can eat that. Why else would you work out if you can't then go out and eat that? That's what you're going to hear. And while some of those things might be true, because we're going to talk about cheat meals, there's nothing wrong with that. When it's coming from a hater, you really got to pay attention to that, because they're not saying that because they're encouraging you or they believe it. They're saying that because they're trying to lead you down that path, because that's all that it takes sometimes, is like to stray off a little bit. And I have seen it time and time again. I have seen challengers who just have that mentality where they had a bad meal and that spiraled into another bad meal and then a skipped workout and then another skipped workout. And then before I knew it, I got, Michelle, I had a bad week, and even though there's 2 weeks left, I'm just going to start over with your next group. So, and that's how it happens. It happens so fast. So I don't want you guys to have that happen to you. I want to help you set up for success. So you have to pay attention to your haters. You are literally like a shiny mirror in front of their face. And when they see what you're doing, it reminds them that they're not doing those things. And so they're going to be hating on you. And it's sad, but it's a reality and it's going to happen. We all have haters in our life. It might be someone in your family. It could be a spouse, it could be your best friend, it could be your mother, your sister. It could be anyone. So you have to pay attention to that. And that's why your goal is so important. Because when you start getting that haterade on you, you can dig deep and go back to your goal and you can remind yourself what you're doing, why you're doing it, and why it's important to you. You can remind yourself that you hate the way that you feel in your clothes. You can remind yourself that you want to be present in pictures with your kids, that you want to not feel bad about yourself at the pool or the beach or a vacation or a party. You have to know why this is important to you. You have to remind yourself why you're doing this. We're not on a diet. We're changing our lives. Some of us are it's medically necessary to make these changes. So don't skip this part. It's important. All right. Do we have a deal? Can we go back and do this? Do it right. Really dig deep. You don't have to share it with a group, but you can, and I encourage you to. This is a private group. No one else is in here except for us. So it's not like we're going to be going and blasting like, hey, guess, no one's doing that. So feel free to share your why with this group, but I'm also going to give you a link to a document where you can do this work, and it's for you, but it's also for me because I want to know if you got skin in this game. I need to know who's really in it to win it, and when I see you struggling, if you struggle, I'm going to say, go back to your why. Do you remember what you wrote down at the start of this group? Do you remember why you said you were here and how important this is to you? And I will remind you. So if you don't remind yourself, I'm going to remind you. That's why it's important. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to encourage you to do the assignments, and trust me and trust in this process. So I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and if you have any questions, let me know, but do the work, and I'm here for you if you need anything. I'll talk to you later. See ya.